Hey, Senator Carter, how are you today?
Hey, good afternoon.
I'm. I know you're busy. I know you're running from place to place. I know you got a couple meetings tonight, but we are so excited that you were able to make some time for us today.
No, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. This is great.
Awesome. We're going to try to talk about three things. I understand there's a new committee that was formed, IP reform, of course, which is always something we need to be talking about right now. And then we got a special guest that's sitting in the lobby, Reggie Powers, your District 32 representative, and we'll bring him in at the end so you can introduce him to the audience. I'd
Awesome.
like to thank the audience for showing up. And if they ever want to listen to any of your, we're doing weekly broadcasts with you, so they can tune in to magalocally.com. There's a YouTube channel. I know you're sharing it on your Facebook and other social media channels as well. So let's get started. So what's up with the new committee? What's the name of it, and what's the purpose of it?
I think it's empowering parents and something committee. Honestly, I am not 100% sure, but I know it's empowering parents and something. I mean, sometimes
Yeah,
go ahead.
empowering parents and children
Committee. Okay.
um, committee. Yep.
Yeah. So essentially, what happened was this is a new education committee. So we already had from last year. So you get new committees usually every 2 years with new leadership. So what happens sometimes is if things aren't going the way they potentially like, they'll just develop another subcommittee or a quasi committee, and they'll start referring all of those bills to that committee. And I am not sure why. I mean, I can surmise that the reason why that they did a new committee was because the chair of the education committee was Andrew Koenig, and he was one of the Freedom Caucus members that stood and filibustered to get IP reform to the floor, and he's one that was removed from his chairmanship and
Right.
was also carrying the education reform bill. So I don't know whether it was I'm sure it was in part because of that, but yeah. So
I and I understand. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I
Go
was put
ahead.
on the, probably because of our education bill that we keep promoting that seems to have been great gaining momentum. So I'm assuming that's why they put me on it.
Yeah, and I know there was a committee that you weren't on before, which your bill, I think, was it SB 814,
Mm-hmm.
um, that actually went through that other committee,
The
and
real
it went through.
Yeah, the first education committee, that bill was heard. It was one of the first bills heard. It was heard the second week of session. It's of that committee. It was a second week of that committee, and it was voted out unanimously the following week, and that's when a new committee was set up.
Magically formed.
Yeah,
So I know politics are dirty. So it sounds like they're taking one of the Freedom Caucus members, which is you, and bringing you into the Education Committee. And
the,
I think they have two or three Democrats. I know Senator Rowdy even put himself on it, even though he's leaving in August. I mean, at the end of this session. Is that
right.
correct?
Yeah, at the end of the term. Yeah.
So there's Senator Curtis Trent, Senator Mary Elizabeth and Coleman, Lauren Arthur, Senator Beck, and then yourself and Travis Fitzwater.
And they actually added Holly Raider this week.
Okay.
That And usually, what happens in a committee is you have equal representation between the Democrats and the Republicans, so it's a balanced committee, um, but not this committee. So honestly, you have some Democrats that are a little, you know, it's chapping them a little bit because there's only two Democrats sitting on that committee.
I
So
see. Well, I think we'll see. We'll just have to sit and watch and see kind of what the purpose of this committee is, and if it's truly about helping the children and parents, like in the name of it, or if is it about trying to play political chess, rhinos against Freedom Caucus and Democrats, and pitting everybody against each other and trying to paint our Freedom Caucus members into a corner, which I have a feeling that this might be some behind the scenes maneuvering to do just that. But
yeah,
we'll see. I don't know.
hopefully not.
Um, hopefully not. Hopefully there's great intentions and great outcomes that come, and we can help the children and the parents.
I agree.
So, what else has happened this week of importance?
So we had, I mean, as far as our pieces of legislation, it was really good. We had, we listened, we had our education bill that was obviously that was voted on. And then we had another education bill that we had to expand the MSSU, the mission statement for MSSU. So Dean Van Galen came up and testified in favor of that. That's just a little bill, but to expand their mission, it has to be passed legislatively. So I don't know how many of you knew that. That's kind of a big deal. So we
Oh yeah.
worked on that for that with them. And then we had an election integrity bill also that came up, and we got a hearing for that. And so we're working with the clerks across the state to try to make sure that the data that's collected during elections can be duplicated so that you can actually come back and rework it to make sure that, you know, we have election integrity. So that bill was heard this week as well.
Sounds like you're getting some things done.
Yeah, we're working on it.
So I know the IP reform. You know, that's what the filibuster kicked off about, and there seemed to be goodwill from the Freedom Caucus, allowing the appointees to be voted on and approved, and then or the governor's appointees. And now, so what's the status on IP reform? Are they going to push it through? Are they going to sit on it?
So in IP reform was we had bills that referred or pulled out of committees that they put on the calendar. The FRA was one of those. That's the federal reimbursement plan for drawing down federal funds for hospitals, and so that's a huge chunk of our. I mean, it's like $4 billion. And so that's a huge chunk. I was checking my memory. It was 4 point something billion, I think. So it's a huge amount of money. That would put a huge hole in our budget if we didn't draw those funds down. But they brought FRA up first on the calendar, and then they had their education that was second. And so they referred some of these other bills and left. There was some, because of the infighting, our Lincoln Huff, who's the chair, wanted to pass the FRA. Now the FRA isn't due to pass until September, but since they pulled that out of committee and put it on the calendar first, you have to hear bills in order of when they're referred, unless they're laid over. And the handler of the bill relinquishes that bill.
Mm-hmm.
You know, basically it's up to that handler to lay that bill over. And they cannot progress until that bill either is heard or it's laid over. So Senator Huff did not want to really lay over the FRA debate. The reason why there was some debate and the reason why they wanted him to lay it over is because there has some language. There's some people who want to add, and this isn't a bad thing, they want to make sure that none of those taxpayer funds are going to Planned Parenthood medical center. And so even though we're not using those dollars, abortion technically is illegal in Missouri, what happens is those dollars can be pulled and sent to Planned Parenthood, and those funds can be sent to another state that's doing it, right? So it's a quasi way of funding some of these abortions that are potentially happening in other states with our taxpayer dollars. So it's a little complicated, but in short, we laid over they laid all of those bills over that were in front of IP reform, laid IP reform over as well, in order to try to get a bill passed that would defund any money going into Planned Parenthood. So that was kind of what all of that was about. We have assurance from the leadership that we'll bring IP up again next week. So, but now that it's been laid over, this is kind of where we're in a game of chicken again, because if they don't keep their word, nobody has authority over that bill anymore. So our
Hmm.
leadership is the one who controls that calendar. That once you lay it over, they control it. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So basically, they've got full control, and they're going to sit on it until they get the leverage points out of everybody they want to. So now they're going to start wrangling behind the scenes to get what they want and sit on it until they do.
Potentially. So, like I said, they gave us their word that they were going to bring it up next week. So, I would assume Tuesday. Tuesday's a really good day to bring up bills like that because Monday you get up here and session doesn't start till 4 o'clock. And so it's kind of late to pick up some of those big, heavy items. And then, so Tuesday, that leaves you Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to debate some of these bigger issues. So they gave us their reassurance that they would bring it up. If they don't bring it up, that's going to be very telling, right?
Right. So we're all going to be watching that. So if you had one thing to say to the parents of District 32 and to the citizens and taxpayers of District 32, what impact does this delaying this IP reform have on them in Joplin and in your district, Neosho, and in the surrounding area?
So a lot of moving parts and pieces, but essentially what you need to know is the goal was to try to move something from the Senate to the House because last year what they moved was something that nobody felt good about. I mean, it really would do nothing. And so that was the momentum and the reason why we tried to bring something up on the House and to get it passed first so it would go to in the Senate so it would go to the House. Um, so that mission is still intact, but because of the calendar and everything else, we had to deal with all of these other things. So now it's just hoping that they keep their word. And what I would say to you is I'm committed to ensure that that bill comes to the floor when they said it was. So whether that
Right.
everything's great and goes smoothly, but if not, if it's not brought to the floor, then yeah, more than likely there's going to be some more dialogue.
Well, I'm hearing that there is already another rally being talked about and planned in support of the Freedom Caucus. And I think the ball has started rolling. There's more momentum and more momentum. It's just getting bigger and it's getting bigger. And the people are now becoming awake of the behind the scenes dealings of why they can't pass these when they have a Republican. I mean, they have all the power. They have all the votes they need to get it through.
Right.
So I think it's really going to be interesting how the leadership kind of deals with the public now because the public's no longer blinded. There's so many outlets, there's so many social media, there's YouTube, there's all these things, there's podcasts like mine that are actually trying to shine a light on what's really going on. Why can't you've been there for so many years? Why can't we get these things that conservatives truly want to get passed? Why can't our conservative leadership get them passed? So
It's been an issue that they've tried to deal with for a decade. 10 years in particular. I had today who was a state rep. He said we were dealing with this issue forever ago. So again, this is not they were making about abortion, not about abortion. I mean, it impacts potentially impacted that, but it's about all of these issues. Your second rights now are up for grabs through the initiative petition process. Ranked choice voting, which is definitely other states that have implemented it, is up for grabs. The abortion issue, the life issue, obviously, is up for grabs. And so there is just a lot of big money interest using this methodology of circumventing the legislature where, all it takes is a bunch of signatures and they get something on the ballot that's potentially, kind of appealing. And then it's codified. It's very difficult to
from a grassroots perspective, to try to combat this big money and special interest groups that are coming from even outside the state, coming from all over America, and they're focusing their attention on Missouri because Missouri is the first one to get rid of the abortions, from my understanding. So there's an all-out attack. So when the one thing that people in District 32 and all throughout Missouri can do is when you're going into the library or to Walmart and there's this person out there that's really happy and really smiley, and just know that they're getting paid big money to get your name on a signature, and they're not going to tell you what's in it. They might highlight something, and then there's 5 other things that are in it. So I would say to everybody out there, don't sign anything until you read it fully.
Right.
So
yes,
I think,
but keep doing our thing. We just sure, you just sign it, but it really has a lot of, sometimes we don't understand or know.
so I know, Senator, I know you're busy and you got to get on the road. I know you got a couple of meetings tonight. Is there anything that you'd like to highlight for next week before I bring Reggie in?
Honestly, Tuesday is that, we have a big rally Monday. I don't know who's put together. There are people coming up to rally for the IP initiative reform that we're trying to get passed. Tuesday is supposed to come to the floor, so hopefully they'll, we're going to see traction there. If not, then, again, this is constantly fluid, so you're just trying to do the best you can with the information you have. My goal is to keep communicate with the district and also with leadership to try to be as supportive as possible to try to get these things passed. But then also just telling the reality of where we are and pointing, fingers at the directions where things are broken. It's important.
Okay. Caden, if you can let Reggie Powers into the conversation.
Good afternoon.
Hey, welcome, Mr. Powers. How are you today? Can you hear me?
I'm great. How about you?
Doing good. Just to let you know, you're on that Make America Great Again locally show. And I know that you're out there doing great things on behalf of Senator Carter. You're her representative in District 32. So, Senator, would you mind introducing Reggie and tell us what's his purpose here in District 32 and what is he doing for the voters here?
Yeah, no, I am thrilled to introduce you to Reggie Powers. I think his name says it all. He's a
Wonder Powers Unite.
he's somebody who's been such a pillar in the art community for just forever, honestly, and just such a person of integrity. And I am just so honored to have him as part of our team. Our goal is to represent the people in the district as much as possible and to help them feel like somebody cares, somebody's listening, and they're engaged. And again, Reggie's history and his work ethic aligns very much to that. And I'm just so pleased to have him as part of our team.
Awesome. Hey, Reggie, I understand that you are planning. You're the prime force when those Wonder Powers ignite, right? They unite like the Wonder Twins. So I understand that you're planning a March 15th event, and I can't remember the name of it, but can you explain it? Tell me where it's at, who all's coming, why people need to go.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you, Senator Carter. That was a pretty posh introduction, but I do appreciate it. I'm thrilled to get to be a part of Senator Carter's office and part of small part of what she does, but it's exciting. And one of those roles, as you mentioned, is to put together a quarterly event that is called Night for the People. This will be the second event that will be held under that banner. This particular event is to ignite our patriotism. So with that,
Awesome.
We're going to have Elijah O'Neill with the American Journey Experience with us, who is phenomenal when it comes to the Constitution of the U.S., its history, its background, how it really is.
So let me break in there. I listen to his YouTube channel. It's not like going to history class, because if you tell people it's a lot of history, it's nothing like that. This guy had me ready to run for office myself after listening to him. But he's an amazing speaker and somebody that's dynamic. And I tell you, I think everybody that's within an hour drive should definitely make the effort to come listen to this guy.
I agree, and part of what he does is inspire you so much that it makes you want to become involved. And not everybody has to run for office, but everybody needs to be involved in
Yeah.
their communities, in various local governments, as well as state and federal governments. So it's going to be exciting to have him here. We will also have Aaron Dorr, who is the Missouri Coalition.
Firearms.
Missouri Firearms Coalition.
The name just wasn't getting there to me. But he will be here. And with that, he'll be talking about our Second Amendment, which is something that we all know is under attack constantly on every level. With that, it also is something exciting to announce that we will be doing a gun giveaway. One of our local gun stores has donated a beautiful hunting rifle. I believe it's called a 334 or something. I'm not a gun person,
Right.
so but yeah.
And I think that's Razor's Edge.
Yes.
Brandon Kelly with Razor's Edge down on Main Street. I'm not sure exactly the address, but I think they're down there right around 10th Street, right on Main. Yeah, they got a nice little shop. I went through there the other day, and he showed me some of the stuff he has. So I understand he's going to be kind of a co-sponsor. He might even have some stuff there at the event for people to come in and look at, get their hands on. So, that's pretty awesome of him to step up and, take part in this event.
He's great.
It really is. And it's something that I think is going to just enhance the evening. With that, I also want to say we will have a special guest, our Congressman Eric Burleson of the 7th District.
Oh, wow.
Is going to be there to speak to us for just a moment and to kind of be the opener for the evening. So we're excited about that. We have a free dinner, which is catered by Union Station. It's going to be a fantastic meal with that. We're planning on having some live jazz music by one of our local high schools, playing softly during our dinner so that we can have time just to enjoy a dinner before we get into the evening festivities. Something else I want to mention, something very exciting, our first ever Passion Awards to be given to 5 local citizens in our district, throughout the district. And these are people who are passionate about their community, passionate about their jobs and what they do. And they have been well selected, great bios. I loved reading their bios. We'll have that first ever Passion Award to offer to these of our citizens. So it's going to be a great night. It's going to be fantastic, held at Joplin Family Worship Center in Joplin, Missouri. The doors will open at 5:30. The program will start at 6 and it will conclude at 8:30. So it's a good evening. You won't be out late. You'll be able to get in and out, but have a lot of good information by the time that you leave that evening. So we're excited about it.
That sounds like a really fun event. And like I said, the speakers, they're both dynamic speakers. Dorr and O'Neill, I've listened to both of them. So if you think you're going to go there and listen to some political speak and sleep and snore, that's not the case. You're going to be up, rah, rah, rah. They really get you motivated. So I think it's a great time for patriots to come together. If you felt like you wanted to do something and the country's not going in the right direction, and you think especially Missouri might not be going in the right direction, and you just want to unite, it starts locally. It starts in your community. So this is a great opportunity for us to come together under District 32 and engage with Senator Carter, who is coming down and giving us her time and then setting all this up. I think it's a great opportunity. Senator Carter, I thank you very much for even providing these type of opportunities for the community to engage you one-on-one, because I was there at the last one. You sat and answered question after question after question. And then you gave out your cell phone number for people to text you, and I've never heard that before. So that's pretty awesome.
No, we're super excited. Like I said, the mentality that I'm coming from is of somebody who was up at the Capitol for 10 years,
Right.
And so I want to make sure that the people at home know that they are number one and that it is a heavy lift. Like there's a lot to be concerned about right now as we watch national news and world view, world news, and that so long as we hang together and have honest conversations and really appreciate and value each other, we're going to be okay. We've got
Yeah.
this. So
It's time to come together. It's time to stand up, quit being quiet, be respectful, but we got to come together. And Reggie, I understand that you've already started taking RSVPs for this. It is an RSVP, even though it's free, because I think there might be seating for maybe 100 people. I'm not sure on your capacity, but if they want to go, they better sign up now, and they need to RSP with you. Is that correct? Can you give me your email address?
Sure.
And I'll put it in the link below on when I publish this, so that they can access it.
Yes, it is very, very, very important to RSVP. We do have the capability of seating at least 300, and we want 300. If I can get more in there, we are going to get more in there. I guarantee you. I'll be. I know the venue well, so it's just a matter of how we can make those accommodations. RSVP. And when you RSVP, please be sure and send the number of people that you are RSVPing for, not just, I'm RSVPing and then show up with 4 people. We need to know the number. And my email address to the RSVP is Reggie, REGGIE, at Jill for Senate. That's JILLFORSENATE.com. So be sure and do that. And I want to say, I mentioned all these speakers. I mentioned Eric Burleson, but I call her the People's Senator. Is
Right.
going to be there, Jill Carter, and we're excited about that. This is her brainchild. This is the things that she likes to do in order to keep in touch with people, and so she's extended that her time, as well as very involved in the whole planning of this. So thank you, Senator. We look forward to it. We're going to have a great event that night.
very excited. Thank you, Reggie.
Thanks, Reggie. Senator, is there anything else you'd like to say before we sign off, I guess I should say? No?
Thank you so much for all of that. And thank you, everyone, for being involved and trying to be informed on what's going on. Really is so critical. I just cannot express. I would say something that being involved at a local level is honestly more important than paying attention to what's going on in the world. So thank you guys. We look forward to seeing you next Thursday, about the same time, Senator Carter. Yep. Perfect.
I know you're busy, and we appreciate you taking the time. So thank you guys. Have a great evening.
Bye, Reggie.
Thank you. See you later.
Bye-bye.